Stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners run.
All right, welcome in everyone to the Runners Live. This is Michael Tharp, EDU. It starts with you. It is Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. Tonight, we are going to look at one of the probably most influential and biggest technology developments in human history, the Apple Vision Pro, the pros, the cons, and what you need to know to make sure that you keep living your best life and maintain a sense of sanity and freedom in these crazy times. Luckily, we have my boy, Ricardo Hamilton, a.k.a. Mims, Make It Make Sense here tonight. Bro, are you ready to let's get into some deep stuff tonight. That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah. This is interesting. As we're watching, technology advance and some exciting products and things moving forward. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what this thing is about and it kind of help, make it make sense for some folks on other ways that they're probably not considering.
And as we get into this tonight, guys, I just want you to stop and think about how these things have changed our lives. You can say good, bad, you can have a debate about it, but there is without a doubt, the smartphone has changed all of our lives. Nothing can ever be the same again as it was, which is why I think those who have lived in a life without them have an advantage. We know what it's like to live without a device connected to us 24/7. And I think the same could happen. There might be a time where people are like, oh, you used to live before there were Vision Pros or before, everyone wore a headset all the time. So again, that's the type of, revolutionary jump I think the Vision Pro can have with humanity. So it's important for us to look at this and figure out how can we use this for the betterment of mankind instead of, making it worse.
Right.
All right. So let's get into this. We are going to be watching. I want to make sure I give him credit. This is I just found him. He is one of my favorite YouTubers. He does really good deep stuff. 1 second. I want to make sure I give him credit. Oh, this is only mine. That's why. Okay, here it is. It is Moon. Very simple YouTube to remember channel. All right, almost has 1 million subs at Moon Real. He does tons of, just current event stuff. And actually the Matrix one we watched was from him as well. So make sure you give him a subscription. All right, let's get into this now. We're just going to watch this and make some comments and kind of give our insight on this.
Apple's new Vision Pro terrifies me. On June 5th, 2023, Apple released their brand new game-changing product, the Vision Pro, and the hype was unreal. In just the build-up to the new product announcement, Apple's stock was bubbling up, rising in anticipation for its release, because Apple's leadership and key investors knew that by unveiling their new Vision Pro, they would be changing human history forever. Because as soon as the product was announced, everyone everywhere was quick to say that this was the same as when the first iPhone was introduced, or the first Mac. The Vision Pro is being praised by all corners of the internet and media.
But this feels like the Series Zero, like the Apple Watch. Remember when the Apple Watch first came out, the Series Zero? The parts of this headset that I tried are actually the best I have ever seen in any VR headset by a mile.
This headset is claiming to be the ultimate mixed reality VR AR experience, and I will say it may very well be.
When they're boasting the ability to recreate the world around you in real time using LiDAR scanning and true depth cameras from the headset you're wearing, while it supposedly runs cool and quiet, man, even at that price point, I'm pretty blown away.
everyone and the dog knew that this was the beginning of a new era. Tweets everywhere praising Apple's holy grail, their most addictive, cutting edge, and groundbreaking piece of technology yet. To the point that even huge companies like Disney partnering with Apple due to their strong conviction that this will finally be the VR headset to make virtual reality mainstream, with Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, saying,
And we believe Apple Vision Pro is a revolutionary platform that can make our vision a reality.
and they're not entirely wrong. This is most definitely a groundbreaking, historic, and unprecedented product. But throughout all of the noise, one question has stuck with me about all of this. What problem is Apple actually solving? Now, this is the fundamental question of all businesses, because every great product is built from this line of thinking. What is the problem? How big is the problem? And how can I solve this problem? The bigger the problem and the bigger the solution, the more money you make as a business. If it's $1 million problem, the solution makes millions. If it's $1 billion problem, the solution makes billions. Jeff Bezos with Amazon, for example, solves the issue of a shop not having the products that you want, having to go to different shops for different things, the hassle of actually going to the shop in the first place, going at certain hours, having to stand in line, whilst Amazon also provides cheaper prices than any other shop with instant delivery. This, along with all the other problems that Bezos is solving through Twitch, Whole Foods, Audible, Blue Origin, etc., has made Bezos one of the richest people in the world. So then this brings back the question, what problem is Apple trying to fix with the Vision Pro?
And I just want to make a comment here. That's an important question to ask yourself when you're doing a business or getting ready to do something, outside the box. Just say, what problem am I solving? Right. And I think, the businesses that we do, I think they're solving very important problems. Usually we focus on assets, right? Income producing assets and how people can get them easily and automatically. But just something as I was watching that I thought of.
Pro. Well, at first it seems like they're just trying to solve the issue of virtual reality not being popular in the public. But is this actually a problem? Does anyone actually want virtual reality to be mainstream, apart from Silicon Valley tech elites? No, the real problem that the Vision Pro is trying to solve is that not everyone in the world can have everything they always want. In fact, for the average person around the world, you have almost nothing you actually want or need. The despairing malaise that hangs heavy in the West permeates from the fact that there is no sense of adventure in your life, no community, no freedom. You spend every day struggling to pay the rent, the bills, the debt. Prices keep increasing, taxes keep hiking. Your income is stagnating, a recession is booming. Where we live in dystopian citadels with trans inhabitants, squabbling cheek by jowl for space. Where your only free time is spent being shuttled on grindingly slow packed public transport through a dangerous urban sprawl, with just enough energy left at the end of the day to mindlessly watch a drip of lethargic, empty entertainment.
So, Ricardo, I think this is, good kind of content or opinion on our current culture, right? That's where most people are at. Struggling, barely enough to survive, and you just have enough to come home and watch some Netflix or television to just forget about your problems.
Yeah.
What's your message to those people living through that right now?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about is, one thing is, we like to keep it to the reality of what's going on in the global economy and, obviously some technological advancements and, the business that we do. But I think about bread and circus. When I think about we have a global financial system that is collapsing. We have, just geopolitical, all type of wars and divided government. And then here we have something new and shiny to distract us, to entertain us. While at the same time, once again, a lot of people can't even afford it, or they have problems in their own real world, in their own real life, and we're just looking for this high or entertainment. But what I will say is that they kept posing the question: is what is Apple solving? What problem are they solving? And to me, it seems like they're trying to get ahead of the industry and actually create a market. It's not only is it can you solve $1 trillion problem, but can you create or get to a market before it even existed in anywhere else? And so I think they definitely ahead of the curve with this, but it's interesting.
So I think that's a major problem they talked about in our society today. And this might be a way for people to use this as an escape.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People are struggling, poor,
Yep.
depression.
Right.
But what do they all have? This.
Everybody got a phone. Yep.
What do they probably spend the most time on?
Mm-hmm.
This.
Yep.
So rather than just carrying this around, if we can do this to them,
Yep. Keep you medicated.
yep, now you're even more of a slave
Mm-hmm.
because I don't even have to have it in my pocket and pull it out and hear a notification. It's literally on me all the time, distracting me from this dystopian reality that's been created, in the world we're living now.
Right.
You then wake up in a gloomy claustrophobic tower block, streaked with grime and riddled with moss, provoking the moral decay of your atomized existence. And as bleak as this may sound, this is the average life for most people. But with the perfect virtual reality system, this problem is solved. If the product is good enough, then the sad reality of your life just slowly fades out and a new reality begins. You can be crying of loneliness in your dark, empty apartment, but then when you put on the headsets, your true reality just dissolves away. You're taken to see different friends, different cultures, different places, different memories, more social media, more dopamine-sucking videos, more games, more pleasure, in a way that you've never experienced before. I mean, when Tim Cook announced the Vision Pro, one of the key aspects of this new technology is the idea that this new kind of computer will blend the real world and the digital world together. A process that has already been catalyzed by Apple today. I mean, when you just stop and look around you, you'll notice how many people are just completely consumed by their iPhones and Macs. Our attention spans have been decimated by iPhones. The design of the iPhone and how addictive it truly is has kept the average person in a perpetual cycle of distraction ever since, endlessly disrupted by short dopamine hits. That's why in 2022, it was calculated that the average American spends 6 hours a day on their phone and another 4 hours on their computer. But with the new Vision Pro, you won't ever need to pick up a phone or a laptop. You can just plug straight into the Appleverse with your eyes, attaching your own consciousness, your life, your business, your culture, your society into a virtual world run by Apple. I mean, already we saw this in 2021 with Meta's Metaverse, as companies like Nike were buying up virtual shoe companies along with Walmart, McDonald's, Gucci, and just so many more. But then you may be asking, what is actually the problem with any of this? What's so bad about it? Surely this isn't something that negative. And even if it is, it's very unlikely that it's going to be widely adopted. I mean, the Vision Pro is $3,500. People don't have the money to be doing this. Most people don't even make this in a month. No average person's going to have the money to be doing this, right? Well, trust me when I say that the rabbit hole of the Vision Pro goes so much deeper than you first think. And very soon, the Vision Pro will become as normal as MacBooks are today. This is Apple's plan, and to understand the true consequences of Vision Pro and what experts are terrified of, we need to see why the Vision Pro was created by Apple in the first place. Now, the idea for Apple's Vision Pro stemmed from the increasing interest and potential of augmented reality technology, with Facebook being rumored as early as 2013 to be putting all of their focus into virtual reality. And with this knowledge, Apple knew that they had to have skin in the game, because this wasn't just Facebook. Companies like Oculus, Microsoft, and HTC were already releasing their own VR headsets, creating a competitive landscape that Apple had to navigate. Because Tim Cook and Apple's leadership knew that eventually phones and laptops would reach a cap in their market potential, but virtual reality was a completely new possibility. Because eventually phones and laptops will reach a cap in their market potential, but virtual reality was a completely new possibility, an untapped, highly addictive industry with the potential to change the entire global economy and human history.
So one thing you guys want to keep in mind is, and why Apple's doing this, is you always want to be at the beginning of a shift in technology, right? This is why, like cryptocurrency and blockchain, the earlier you get into that, the better off you're going to be. You get into cryptocurrency in 10 years, your chances of, profiting as much as you can now, diminish greatly.
Yeah.
So again, eventually phones will cap, computers will cap, but this is a brand new industry that's just starting out. So the potential is almost unlimited.
Apple recognized the society-changing possibilities of blending the digital world seamlessly with the real world, and time was running out. They had to get started before any other company like Facebook monopolized the industry. Because if Apple wasn't at the forefront of VR, then this could have potentially wiped out billions of Apple stock a decade later in the future. And with Apple's strategic history of staying at the forefront of technological advancements, there was no way they were ever going to be behind Facebook in the VR wars. Now, not much is known about the development of Vision Pro. However, Apple has worked on the headset hardware and software since at least 2016, most likely 2015, in a division called the Technology Development Group. However, as soon as development started on the Vision Pro, Apple was facing some giant issues. For starters, if Apple was going to addict and plug billions of people into their virtual reality, the experience would need to be seamless, as close to true reality as possible, which was an incredibly hard challenge, especially considering this was almost 10 years ago. The most powerful VR headsets at the time was the first version of the Oculus Rift, and the Oculus was heavy and uncomfortable for long periods of time. It was ugly and it felt fake. There was no possible way when you used the Oculus Rift that you would believe it was reality. So Apple knew that if they were going to keep people constantly wired into their own virtual reality, they would need to change this. They had to make the design a compact and lightweight headset with powerful processors, high-resolution displays, advanced sensors, and efficient battery systems. As though you weren't wearing anything at all, Apple was treading uncharted waters. No one had ever done anything like this before, and that's why reports suggest that Apple's engineers and designers spent years refining and perfecting the headset's features, focusing on comfort, usability, and immersive experiences for years. And this was just the start, because augmented reality also requires intuitive and seamless user interaction. So Apple faced the task of designing an interface that would allow users to effortlessly navigate the digital and physical worlds, also while maintaining a natural and immersive experience. So natural that you didn't even realize you had it on. And in addition, the Vision Pro also had to integrate seamlessly with its existing ecosystem of devices and services. As one of the key parts of the Vision Pro was that you could connect your photos and apply the iCloud system to your eyes, as though all the stuff that you do on your phone was now just your true reality, because this would allow you to do the unthinkable. Things like watching memories from 5 years ago as if you were there in the exact moment when it happened.
I gotta say, that sounds cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm impressed. This stuff looks
Yeah.
awesome. It's very appealing, very attractive. Definitely makes you want to try it out and see what it's all about. But I mean, it looks good. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, so both my boys just had their birthdays this week, and I was like looking through like their old photos and whatnot, and just reminiscing of like when they were younger.
Yeah.
And to be able to have something like that, of like a video I took of like their, 5th birthday, that I could just probably, I'm assuming probably recall it and just say, go to whatever date, probably
Right.
pulls it right up. And then I'm watching like their birthday party, there, like that's cool.
Yeah.
Obviously I need a balance there, right? If I spend all my days reminiscing the past, that's probably not good. But that's amazing technology of, loved ones you lost or great memories or trips that you had,
Mhm.
that you can pull it up and watch it as if you were there, is absolutely amazing. Like I think that can be used for good, I guess is what I'm saying.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Along
Okay.
with being able to work wherever you are in the world, without even a computer, all your contacts, work documents, notes, videos, presentations, and music, all stored away in your eyes. And this wasn't just as simple as using the same software for iPhones, iPads, and Macs, because Apple would need to build from the ground up a completely robust, perfect ecosystem of virtual reality applications and content to provide engaging and diverse experiences for Vision Pro users. Having to make deals with Disney to be on the Vision Pro, along with countless other companies that still haven't been disclosed yet. But eventually, it worked. And after almost 9 years of development, the Vision Pro now looks to be one of the first successful attempts at Silicon Valley breaking into the virtual reality market. By delivering an all-in-one augmented reality headset, Apple has paved the way for immersive and interactive experiences that were once only the stuff of science fiction. Even Ready Player One, a film that was released in 2017, seemed unthinkable. But now with the release of Vision Pro in 2023, and this not only sets a new standard for augmented reality, but experts now also warn that this radical new technology will transform every aspect of society. And this is where things get really crazy. Vision Pro is creating an entirely new economy. Virtual reality and AI is what experts predict to be $1 billion or even $1 trillion industry in the near future. And just like the dot-com bubble, markets are eating up this vision of the future. Although what's being sold as market salvation is actually growth in just 7 tech stocks. Opportunities that are long overhyped at Paycheck, their own game, kids will link in the description of technology, in the creation of what people are calling the real world web. Apple referred to this in their announcement, calling the Vision Pro the first device they've made that you look through rather than at. Rather than using a device to pin.
That's key there. The first device you look through, not just at.
Mm.
So we look at our phone, we look
Mhm.
at our computer, we look at a television.
Yeah.
We're going to look through, these VR headsets like the Apple
Yeah.
Vision Pro.
Yeah, so you're able to see what's in front of you, but you also still be able to see what's beyond in front of you from what's on the VR screen.
Correct.
And
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then apparently you can still hear too, because like if you have headphones on, you're oblivious. You can't hear really what's going on around you, but apparently you'll still be able to hear what's going on around you as well. So that's pretty cool as well with the visuals.
Yeah.
Change the virtual world, people will have the virtual world overlaid onto the real one. We'll interact with it every day through virtual screens, objects, places, and people. In short, the virtual world will have finally crossed the border into reality itself. And the Vision Pro's double 4K.
Do you catch that?
Yeah, run it back.
The virtual world overlaid onto the real one. We'll interact with it every day through virtual screens, objects, places, and people. In short, the virtual world will have finally crossed the border into reality itself.
The virtual world will cross the border into reality itself. So what is real? That's the question that probably will be the most important question in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
What is real? Like what is truth? What is a fact? What actually happened in 2020 to 22?
It's what we talk about in the Matrix, it's the same thing. He said, well, what is real? Is real the electrical impulses that are sent from your senses to your brain that tell you, what this is, or is real what's going on through your VR goggles and the Sims type of lifestyle that you might be living through VR. This is definitely it's a part of human evolution. It's a transition, as well as a financial one, of course. And you're seeing what's happening with the technology, and they want to connect humans to machines. They want to connect humans to technology. This is how more people are going to accept transhumanism and start to connect, your brain to machines, and they make it so cool and everything else. But there's the other side of it, that potential dystopia. So it's interesting to see. But yeah,
all I know is if you don't see the relevance of the Matrix now, I don't know what you're thinking. So this is why we talk about the Matrix so much, the red pill, what is real, what is reality, what is truth? These are the most important questions, humankind has struggled with in the past. And now it's just getting more complicated as we merge technology with reality.
Yeah. People are going to escape into these.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going to escape all the way.
And the Vision Pro's double 4K screens are already close to photorealism, making this future alarmingly close. And like I mentioned, this will change everything in society. Surgeons, for example, will see real-time medical information and possible problems when they're working. In fact, people can be trained for nearly any job using AR assistants. People with memory loss will be able to relive lost memories. Schools and colleges will combine classroom settings with virtual reality. That's why the Vision Pro will change the world just as much as the internet has. But if left unchecked, there will be some serious problems.
These social media platforms are picking the next president, the next congressman. They're literally picking. And they have the power to pick, so they will be controlled by the government.
That's why Professor Reed explained when talking about virtual reality that, quote, the ultimate aim is not just virtual reality or augmented reality, it's mixed reality. It's blending the digital and the real world together. And ultimately this blend may be so good and so pervasive that the virtual and the real become indistinct.
So that's right there. It's kind of what we had just been talking about, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, again, guys, you can't just be like, everything's evil. Okay. Imagine if somebody in the 1990s was like, the internet's evil. There's going to be scammers and pornography and the dark web on it. I'm just not going to use the internet at all. That person could almost not exist today. Like, can you get anything without an email address? I don't even think you can get a bank account today, barely.
Right.
You can't get a cell phone, a bank account. Like you would essentially not exist in this world without just an email address. So you can't just say, well, this new technology is evil, I'm not going to deal with it. It's our kind of our job or, right as humans to form these things into positive versus negative.
Yeah. And one more thing I was thinking about, might be getting ahead here a little bit, but man, what this is going to do, like you said, the metaverse there, you talk about NFTs, we're talking about gaming and we're talking about the blockchain. And then of course, from my understanding, XRP has and Apple have relationships and doing business in different ways. So, and then of course you have Apple Pay. And so if Apple goes cryptocurrency and, people paying Fortnite and now they're paying in, crypto and, we're definitely moving, in this era. Apparently there's nothing that can stop it, but this is why it's good to be ahead of time. Like you
Right.
were saying, Mike, do you want to get into crypto 10 years from now? Or did you want to get into crypto today or if even 10 years ago? Obviously, it's a major difference. So,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's all about molding that future, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
things are going to happen. You can't just put your head in the sand and think you can just ignore things and it's going to not affect you. That's ridiculous.
Distinguishable, and the market for that is gigantic because whoever controls it will basically have control over your entire reality. And then when you really think about it, if an entire new world, memories, life and culture is adopted into the virtual world, then who's actually controlling this world? The same company using sweatshops with suicide nets in China? The same company caught spying on all of its users with iPhones? The same company that censors any political opinions that don't fit into their ESG score? It's clear that our free will not be as free as we think very soon, because we're becoming attached to the virtual world on autopilot, and it's already happening, where our phones and computers are morphing into our second brains, with all of our memories, personal tastes, secrets, hobbies, music, conversations, all being stored into a virtual cloud. But once we actually live inside the virtual world, when our entire society and culture exists in this virtual world, that's when we need to be concerned. Because if the Vision Pro succeeds, it will be bigger than the iPhone. And this leads on to one of the biggest problems with AR and the Vision Pro lie. Augmented reality will remove the last few seconds of time between the impulse to follow the distraction and getting the dopamine reward. They will push the digital world of distractions right into people's faces. And this final wall between us and the digital world is crucial. Instead of having adverts and notifications appear on your phone, they'll appear directly in your vision. With augmented reality, technology will become even more demanding of your attention and your time, and Apple will use this to their advantage, plugging you into their addictive data harvesting system 24/7, giving them an untold wealth of information to sell. But it goes the other way as well. One of the most celebrated upcoming features of the Vision Pro is its insane eye tracking capability. With a set of incredibly detailed and intricate cameras, the headset will use eye movement as a key navigation device for the entire interface. I mean, it's already been revealed that the headset will create a user profile based on how you use your eyes to focus on things and view your environment. And this information is gold to advertisers and personality profilers. By studying the data on the exact way that you perceive and see adverts, Big Tech will have even more tools to predict what you'll want next. They'll be able to tell exactly how long each thing they show you keeps your attention and what draws you away, what sights distract you, what colors light up your brain. And this will complement and work in tandem with the real world web, meaning that your every desire will literally be at your fingertips. And it's in this way that augmented reality and the real world web brings us far closer to Nozic's experience machine. Now this is a classic thought experiment of a machine that offers you the best possible existence, complete bliss and pleasure. The only cost that comes with this is that you won't want to ever be unplugged. It detaches you from reality itself. Even though it's literal heaven, lots of people won't accept being plugged in, as there's a value in reality that's unattainable from a simulation. Or at least that's what the thought experiment suggests. And this is exactly what the Vision Pro offers: happiness and a world of information and entertainment at your fingertips. But we've already seen that this isn't bringing people happiness. In fact, it's doing the opposite. I mean, the majority of people in the West have access to luxuries that the lords and kings of history couldn't even dream of.
So he's going to make some really good points here. But that thought experiment you talked about, guys, think about it. What if this experience is so good, you just don't want to unplug, because then you got to go back to the real world, right? And so this is, my scary part, Ricardo, is, we talk about the Great Reset a lot, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And this is kind of what I see happening. Of, you have this lady here who's probably living in a rundown small house. Why is she going to unplug, right? When she could be, on a beach talking to her friends in the metaverse on this, headset.
Yeah.
Whereas when she takes it off, all she's probably around crime, poverty,
Destitute. Yeah.
destitute. Right. So this to me is the scary part. Is this fits right into, again, Apple is not, their ESG woke, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is basically what they're trying to do, is herd the cattle to living like this.
Yeah. Yep. Because they know the situation they're creating, and they know that people love to be entertained, and they want to escape, and they want to make it as easy as possible for you to escape. And this is definitely one of the ways that I can see that they're going to do that for a lot of people.
Yeah, so he's going to make a great point here is we are the most depressed, anxiety-ridden, marriage rates are declining, birth rates are declining, people's happiness are declining.
Mm-hmm.
And, forget about whatever might be happening with the economy. We have luxuries kings and presidents didn't have 100 years ago. And we're still unhappy. So it's not that we need more stuff, right? It's that we need to be more in control of our mind and focusing on those things that bring true happiness, not just another dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what is destroying the brain. And I saw it happen real time with students in high school as I saw cell phones expand. I saw they couldn't complete tasks. They couldn't pay attention. Their attention spans went down.
Yeah.
They got more disrespectful. And every year I just saw it go down, down, and down because every year more and more kids had cell phones because the price of those cell phones dropped.
Yeah.
Same thing's going to happen with this, right? It starts at $3,500 now.
Yep.
Apple is genius marketers.
Yeah.
Genius at marketing. So everybody will want this. Only the rich, wealthy, and elite will get it. And then they'll come out with the second one and drop it to $3,000. And eventually it'll get to where it's like $1,000, like the iPhone is now.
Mm-hmm.
And you got half the 12-year-olds walking around with iPhones right now that cost $1,000.
And they got everybody got credit.
Yep.
Keep your social credit score good, and we'll give it to you for free.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So this point I think is probably the most important of the video.
Hot showers, a diverse and delicious range of food and drinks, entertainment at a moment's notice. But we're never actually happier. We're more miserable, lonely, and empty every single day. Because the happiness that augmented reality and the experience machine promise is false. The whole idea of this philosophical concept is that happiness isn't something that we should value above everything else. It's fleeting when it's provided through distractions and hedonism. Nietzsche's work on happiness gives us the real reason behind all of this. People see happiness as the end result of a cycle of wanting something, then getting it. But for Nietzsche, happiness isn't the end result of a process. Instead, it's a byproduct of the process as a whole. It's the journey, not the destination. The hard work of achieving your goals in life, both big and small, is where happiness really comes from. And
the journey, not the destination. And we've talked about this a lot, in our Mindset Challenge group. Don't worry about the results, right? Focus on the process of getting there. That's the fun part. Okay? It's not making a certain amount of money a month. It's not winning a certain award, right? It's the process of getting there. You got to learn to love that. Because if all you're looking at is, I just want to get to the end of this journey, you're not going to enjoy the journey. That's how you find true happiness.
The problem with the Vision Pro is that it promises to get rid of all the obstacles that make the journey in the first place, pretty much removing the journey entirely, and this will kill the small amounts of happiness left to take in the world. Paradoxically, pursuing happiness as the final goal, as the solution to the masses problem, means that people will never actually find real happiness. Therefore, Apple isn't really solving the issue that it's trying to fix. Outside of helping you to do a specific thing in a specific case, it will only serve as a distraction just like iPhones do. It will reduce your attention span and make you easily distracted and less determined, which are the qualities that run completely counter to the cycle of achievement that Nietzsche describes, the happiness inhibitors. It's a procrastination machine, leaving the masses more.
Wow. He's right. Procrastination machine.
Yeah.
And, you could say that's what, phones are now too. This is why, guys, we talk about this all the time. You have got to use this technology to create and help people, not consume and entertain or escape.
Yeah.
Entertain and escape. Okay. So you got to ask yourself now, what are you using technology for? Is it to create content and help more people? Or is it to entertain and just, disengage from the escape?
Yeah. Disengage.
If you're using this for entertainment and escapism, that's probably why you're struggling. It's probably why you're not happy. Mims, anything you want to add?
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
This last part is where it gets really good, so pay attention.
more addicted, more distracted, more dopamine deprived than ever before. It won't just be people based on virtual reality though. The type of content we consume will also change to reflect the shortening of attention spans. The short form content that's become so prevalent will evolve to fill the niches that AR leaves open. They already play on experience. Most short form content tries to provoke a single emotion in the quickest way possible. So just think of 1-minute pet adoption videos that are playing on your heartstrings, or the 5-second skits and jokes that won your laughter, or other forms of short form content that give you multiple things to focus on at once, like a podcast clip with some satisfying imagery or some game footage all mashed together. AR will then let these videos intrude on your other senses and give them a real presence, making them that much more immersive and therefore more addictive. These horrible videos becoming seamlessly integrated into your actual world. Another side effect that most people don't even discuss about this is how virtual reality is going to affect people in delusions. People like other kids.
Okay, this is scary. Listen to this.
Okay.
Furries, or TikTok reality shifters who think they're actually in the Harry Potter universe. Virtual reality will only give these people the means to live out their delusions, turning their own worlds into what they want them to be. Or just imagine political echo chambers that come into reality and manifest themselves in your living room, or a world of Instagram models and influencers and adult entertainment stars that will look more real than real, without taking off their headset or unplugging from the system, and you'll be under the illusion that everyone looks perfect. Your dopamine will be fried, and any addictions you have to attractive girls on Instagram and other sites will only be doubled. This is the future we're rapidly approaching, and Apple's Vision Pro is the first step in that direction. A new virtual world that will strip you of your privacy, discipline, focus, freedom, and authenticity. So long as our culture continues to offer nothing whatsoever of substance, authenticity, or meaning, nightmarish trends like the Vision Pro will only continue to proliferate. And the sad fact is that the majority of us will jump in without even a second thought.
That was deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So especially that last part there where he said, you know, it's going to take away your discipline, your happiness, your privacy, and most people are going to jump in and not even question it.
Yeah.
You know, like we did with our phones.
And it kind of went back to what he said before. What problem are they really solving? How is this really advancing, helping humanity, helping us become, you know, more whole in our relationships and happiness and you know, and everything else of that nature? You know, it's interesting, man. It's interesting to see how, you know, this stuff is rolling out and how people are going to perceive it and how they're going to interact with it.
When, you know, I would just say, you know, anything can be used for good or evil, right?
Yeah.
You can take $100, you can use it to do something evil with, something that's not healthy for you, or you can take that $100 and help people and make the world a better place. That's the way everything is, right? So I guess, you know, I started using a cell phone when I was 22. So what the hell did I know back then? Right? Like, I'm just trying to survive. I remember when I got $500 in my bank account, I thought I made it, you know, when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So, and that's the issue, right? Is it's hard to have these reflections if you're struggling every day, you know, if you don't have the time to really ponder how can this help me or hurt me. So, you know, start with your phone. Okay. You might be like, well, I can't afford this. I'm not going to get it, whatever. Okay. But you probably have a cell phone. You're essentially already taken the first step into this dystopian world. You know, he kind of showed that could happen here. So analyze, what are you doing now, right? What are your daily habits? If you don't have a time of the day that you're setting aside to put away technology, you're probably struggling. All right. Even as a person who does online businesses and network marketing, a majority of the day, my phone is on do not disturb. If I turn my phone off do not disturb, it's just popping off. I couldn't focus on anything for 10 minutes. And this is what I used to teach my students. You know, when I was in high school, I was like, no, don't just have your phone in your pocket. Turn off your vibration. Because when I was teaching kids, man, it's like, listen, if you are trying to listen to me and your phone vibrates, what is going on in your head? Oh, is it my boyfriend or my girlfriend? Did something happen with my mom? Yeah. Oh, somebody messaged me back on Instagram I'm waiting to hear from. it messes with your mind. So you have got to learn to control the technology that you have right now, or that technology will control you, and it already is. I guarantee you, Ricardo, there's people out here that watch this are like, "Oh, I would never do that. That's crazy. I'm not going to be controlled by these, this technology or these
Yeah.
machines." They're already a slave to their cell phone.
Yep. Yep. No, you're right. Yeah.
So, my last thoughts, guys, are, as always, this will happen slowly, right? It's not like in a year there's going to be a bunch of zombies walking around with Apple Vision Pros on and taking over the world.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a slow creep like it was with cell phones. And you need to start preparing your mind, body, and soul for it right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, start with your phone. Start spending more time meditating, writing on a piece of paper in the real world. And we've talked about this before, Ricardo. I think that's what's so funny about cryptocurrency and blockchain is the only way you can keep it and really have it be yours is to write it down on a piece of paper in the real world.
Mm.
Because if you save it digitally, it's not going to be safe.
Right.
So again, we'll do a double education here when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain. When you get your seed words or your mnemonic phrase, you never make those digital because they're so easy to steal and then your wallet's gone.
Yep.
The only way to be safe is to write it down on a piece of paper that only you have, or to memorize it in your brain, which obviously is a little risky.
Right.
But I just think that it's a funny aspect when it comes to cryptocurrency. So you have to start mastering this now of, like I said, prayer, meditation, affirmations, writing things down, getting out in nature, exercising more, and spending time with your cell phones off, experiencing real human interaction. When we are eating or having dinner, there is no phones, period. I'm amazed at how many times I go out to eat and I see these teenagers or 8-year-olds with their parents. They just have their phone out the whole time at the table. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Literally want your child to be damaged for life?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not care about them at all? So, I mean, these are the big issues, we have to
Yeah.
tackle as humans.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess last thing I'll say and add to that is that like you're saying, Mike, you gotta have some practical application and approach to all of this stimulus that is just being thrusted upon us, that we find ourselves being distracted with, especially in these times, and so, have that, because I'm sure those glasses ain't gonna come with, hey, you've been on 2 hours, we're shutting you off. You know what I mean? No, they're gonna, some people are gonna overindulge. And if you already have an addictive personality, if
Right.
people are already addicted to their phones, it really, this is the beginning step to changing humanity, because now we're defining, well, what is a human being? And that's what the whole transhumanism, issue is about. And so the more people connect into the matrix, into technology, they lose connections, the social connections and being around people, and, that humanity that makes us human. So, these are just some things that, there should be some enforcement, there should be some requirements or something of that nature, but we have that literally for none of the technology that exists today. So I'm pretty sure we won't have it for any technology like this and in the future. But it's up to us. It's up to us as parents, as guardians, as responsible adults, as people who just understand that you cannot overindulge 24/7, have this stimulus, and plug into the matrix, as we call it, like this, um, and actually expect to have a real healthy and successful lifestyle. I mean, it's not possible. You have to connect to the real world and stay grounded.
Yeah, and just last thoughts for me, guys, tonight is, again, the most important thing you can invest in is your mindset. So you have to guard your body, your mind, and your soul from any sort of technology. You need routines and daily disciplines to help maintain a certain level of happiness, sanity, relationships, healthy relationships with people. So really focus on that. And that's, why, again, we've been loving doing the 90-day mindset challenge, because it puts these types of things into perspective. I was talking with someone today, who's I'm going to start mentoring. And I said, what daily routines do you have? I asked her. She had none. She kind of explained to me what she did, but there was nothing. There was no exercise, no prayer, no meditation, no affirmations, no outside nature walk, no moments of silence, right? And this is where most people are at. This is called the rat race, right? Is you just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Look at your phone, get your dopamine hit, waste time, watch Netflix. So that's what we want for you guys and for everyone out there, is to start living a more meaningful, happy life.
Yeah.
And it starts with you investing in yourself and taking action and doing something that you weren't doing before, or you're going to keep getting the same results. Mims, anything you want to add to close this out?
No, I think it's a great show tonight. A little different perspective. We always try to get ahead of the curve, and we try to prepare so that we can not only make sure wealthy family comes from us, but we can also guard against, things that can destroy the health and happiness of ourselves and our family and the people around us. So it is definitely a good question. Is the Apple Vision Pro genius, or is it evil? What are the ramifications? Where is this going? Good or bad? You decide. Let us know.
When you brought up a good point there, Ricardo, is that the question is it genius or evil? You literally decide. You can use it to become more of a genius, to make money, to be more productive, to help other people, or you can choose it to use it for evil.
Yeah.
To distract yourself.
Like in the Matrix, when Neo, he learned jujitsu. He was like, I know jujitsu. I know karate. I just downloaded it right there. But the download took some time because he was in there learning the techniques and fighting. But it's the same thing. If you're going to use that, that Vision Pro, are you using it for entertainment 24/7? Or are you actually learning a skill? Are you actually, enhancing your understanding and evolving in what you know? It's the same thing with like how I use TikTok. I've got it to where my algorithm will only show me, politics, economics, critical things that I talk about, cryptocurrency, the global economy, financial systems. In between there's some fluff, but I skip right over it. But I'm constantly consuming information that keeps me abreast to what is in my interest and in my specialty, as opposed to just mindless entertainment. So it's really up to you how you decide to use the technology. They're going to put the distractions out there, but it's up to you to decide whether you want to follow the distractions or you're like, no, I'm actually going to use this as a tool to empower and educate me, myself, and my family.
And so this is probably a whole lesson I'll have to do some other time, but it comes down to, are you using this to create content and care for people, or are you using it to entertain yourself and escape? So we got the CE, create and care, good, genius.
Yeah.
Entertain, escape, evil.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you will decide what you will do with your life and how you will use this revolutionary tool to make the world a better place or a worse place.
That's it.
All right.
Lace up.
Tomorrow at noon, guys. Tomorrow at noon, Jason from the Debt Box will be on with Joe, so don't miss that. The roadmap for the debt chain will be launching soon, and I'm excited for it.
No doubt.
All right, lace up.
Lace up.